Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Cruisin the Planet. This week, we are joined just by
Yo, I'm Jake.
Jake Rudisale. One of the originals, one of the boys.
The man, the myth, the legend.
One of my favorites. I don't know about all that. I'm kidding.
Of course.
So, Jake, what do you like to do in your free time?
Listen to music, play video games, just...
Oh, you're a gamer.
Yeah, I'm a gamer.
I wouldn't have known that from our previous couple episodes where we talked expressly about video games.
And how great they are.
And how great they are. But this time, as you've seen all the ads on YouTube and such, Valorant.
Yeah?
It's first-person shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my current obsession.
All right.
I play on PC. That's, I think, known. I don't think that gets me in trouble for saying I play on computers. I don't know. Is that controversial still?
Not really, no. I think
All right,
I
cool.
think
Just trying to offend the least amount of people for the podcast.
I think that being a PC gamer is becoming a lot more mainstream nowadays.
It's not elitist, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be elitist just because it takes
Nuts. All right.
You have to go into the process of like building a PC. So like no matter what, like it's going to be until they make it to where like you can buy a pre-built at the same price you can building it, which is never going to happen because the labor costs.
Right.
It'll always be an elitist hobby because you like work really hard to buy all these pieces and then put it together.
Yeah.
And then like it's ultimately just a better machine than consoles are, like just on a hardware level.
Well,
so.
you get to pick exactly what you want instead of getting a generalist tool.
Yeah, like with consoles are really good for people who are incredibly like just casual at games.
Yeah.
But if you want to get like really serious into it, like PC, no doubt. You'd only ever get a console for like exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah.
And on that note,
Mm-hmm.
Valorant's PC exclusive for now. I'm assuming I don't know.
It's a Riot game.
It's
so
a Riot
I
game, so
wouldn't
it's
be
probably
surprised.
just going to sit on PC. To those who don't know, Valorant is one of the most recent games created by Riot, the people who make League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I guess, CSGO inspired. Basically, 2 groups of 5. You purchase your guns and abilities at the beginning of the round. You then shoot out to seek and destroy a bomb that is planted by the opponent team.
Yeah.
Or you can just completely annihilate the other group. Like you just shoot all the other.
So yeah,
dudes.
it's just a
very
bomb
very
defusal.
standard bomb defusal tactical shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Very fast paced. Has something very common to the game that you've been playing, in the fact that it has a very very high risk reward, very short time to kill.
Yeah.
TF2.
Well, I haven't been playing TF2, so to say. I've been playing Team Fortress 2 Classic, which is a mod that was developed from Team Fortress 2 that basically takes all of the old kind of mechanics from like when the game started. So damage values are honestly a lot less balanced in a way, but they have included kind of...
You're still playing Team Fortress 2, though, yes?
Yeah, you're effectively playing Team Fortress 2, but in my opinion, it's a lot better because they cut a lot of the fat that permeates within regular Team Fortress 2. Like, they've made it a point to never add cosmetics. And that is... to some people, that might be a bad thing. I think that is an exceptionally good thing because I think that cosmetics in Team Fortress 2 ultimately ruined the game.
Oh, yeah?
The reason why I believe cosmetics ruined Team Fortress...
Yeah, let's talk about skins.
The reason why I think cosmetics ultimately destroyed Team Fortress 2 as a whole is because a lot of reasons. The big one is that Valve realized that, hey, like, we don't really need to make new updates for this game anymore. We don't need to, like, officially kill off Team Fortress 2. We can just keep releasing new hats that the community made, and we'll keep making a constant profit off of that. Not only that, but hats and, like, items and especially stuff that has like weird, unique particle effects, really bog the game down in terms of performance.
Like specialty things.
Yeah, like stuff that doesn't really matter and you can't disable because that person earned it, through a random chance gamble. They earned it, so we all have to suffer reduced frame rates because this obnoxious dude with these really, honestly, kind of gaudy, ugly looking like hats and clothes,
Yeah.
and they paint them all like weird colors. All that bogs the game down, and it honestly turned Team Fortress 2 into a very slow running like pseudo cryptocurrency thing. And a lot of the people,
the trading economy.
yeah, the trade. I have never been a fan of TF2's trading economy. I laughed whenever that glitch that caused like everyone
the
to
entire downfall of the whole system.
Yeah, like it caused everyone to get like an unusual from a box. I thought like I wasn't involved in that. Like I was a bit late to the party on that one, but I was so happy it happened.
That it just crashed the
Yeah,
market.
because like the market itself has always been a huge detriment to the game, in my opinion. And the reason why Team Fortress 2 Classic is great is because the developers of it have made a point to never add cosmetics. They're never going to add a level of like weird micro trading into it. Like whenever like there's a new update and they release a new weapon or item, it's going to be for everyone. Everyone gets it immediately.
Oh.
Yes. And it's really cool because it
Okay. So it's very competitive and balanced in the fact that everyone gets to choose from the same selection. There's no inventory to manage.
Yes, there's no inventory to manage.
It's just skill-based gameplay.
I would say to that degree, yes, but there is also the angle of it is relatively unbalanced because it uses old damage values from Team Fortress 2 before several balances, which in my opinion is also a good thing because I don't like Team Fortress 2 as a competitive game.
Oh.
I enjoy it very much as a casual game where I go in.
Goofy randos?
Yeah, I mean, not even just goofy randos, just like a random just class shooter that's not necessarily balanced all that well, but has heart and character and is just enjoyable and fun to play. And so I'm perfectly fine with having the Pyro be much more overpowered than all the other classes, so long as it's fun to play.
And so you're not worried about the sweaty toxicity that comes from a bunch of people taking a moment incredibly seriously?
Not necessarily. I do like a little toxicity in my games personally, but that's just like...
you might really enjoy some of the randoms that I have been recently dealing with in Valorant.
Yeah?
Currently, there's a gun called the Sheriff. It's a 6-shooter pistol that is very slow to fire. You can fire like 4 rounds a second in it. Very slow compared to every other rifle or like the AK, quote unquote, in the comparison to the game. There's a full-on like Gatling machine gun that you can purchase. So very slow. However, every bullet has a lethal potential because it's segmented, similar to what Call of Duty likes to do, where legs are a certain amount of damage, bodies a certain amount of damage, heads a certain amount of damage. And it takes the TF2 health approach of you have 100 health. Different classes don't have different amounts of health, but you're allowed to purchase different amounts of armor.
Yeah.
So you have 100 starting health. You can purchase 25 armor or 50 armor.
Okay.
So you can have up to 150 health, basically. Right? There's a couple of guns that deal with armor penetration, which is all about getting through someone's armor, so you're really playing a different kind of bullet game there. What I want to do is just click on heads. Because with the Sheriff, at 0 to 30 meters is 150 damage no matter what if you get him in the brain.
Yeah.
And so I've been on a personal journey to improve my accuracy, improve my game. As such, it's forced me to learn how to peek, how to use my abilities properly, how to communicate with the team, read the map, read how different things are going on, know how my opponents are. It's made me a better gamer. It's made me more skilled. But what it has done is have moments where I'm awful, god-awful, I'm horrible, I'm worse than vinegar. And I just end up turning a corner, dying immediately, throwing off the whole match, and then dealing with the ire of every salty person that is in my lobby with all my randos.
It is a Riot game, though, so...
And so
that's kind of that's the thing. It's kind of par for the course for toxicity. And, I mean,
it is the League of Legends, people. That is fair. And when communication is a part of the game, there is some weirdness going on. It forces you to work with each other.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of immediately curbs the people who like want to snowball a match, because at any moment, because you can deal so much damage with just one single bullet in the game. Similar to how like a scout can just upset a whole match in TF2, or a soldier is able to just roam through mid. And like throw the whole fight off when you had this corner locked down, because it has such a short time to kill and the damage values mean something. And there's like very little healing. I feel that it curbs that snowballing that
Yeah.
Riot gamers are used to.
Mm-hmm.
Like in League of Legends, the whole idea is to become this overpowered godlike being who just rolls through the map, clearing out anyone in your way.
Okay.
With Valorant, it's completely different. Turn on a dime at any moment. If you peek if you peek a corner and they're not paying attention, you just line them up. You move, and then you move through, and you've ruined the entire team's plan. Now they have to defend two faces. Now they're dealing with all these other things.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it cuts a lot of that toxicity, but also, from what you can tell me about your experience, I think a shooter is going to always have that level of toxicity, right?
Yeah, which, like I said, I actually really like toxicity in games personally.
Talk to me about it.
My whole kind of idea of this is sort of like my mindset with everyone in general. Is I'm the kind of person to where if I see that you're toxic on the surface,
Mm-hmm.
I know your full hand. I know the extent of how bad you can be.
Yeah.
I don't really have a trust for people who are like never toxic,
Oh.
just because it's like, well, like no one's perfect,
Right.
and you kind of hiding that from me in like a very casual setting like this makes me think like, okay, like what are you hiding? What demons do you have?
Because you've experienced the bottom of society through 4chan,
Mm-hmm.
you know that there is inherently evil in men,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so you expect everyone to show a little bit of that evil.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like I have this tendency to just not trust people who are very like just never negative and always positive.
Uh-huh.
Like there's some people who are like
Well, Jake.
always positive, but like they have like a negative side that I've seen. And those people I can trust because I've seen that personally.
I'm curious now. Walk me through some like pseudo examples,
Like, what do you mean?
if you mind. Just like build out this little fake character, this person that we can like look out for.
Well, most of the time they're the kind of people on Twitter who are always like posting like nothing but like positivity and like kind of wholesome memes, and like there's never really an instance of them lashing out at someone or like getting upset over something that's happening in the news.
Yeah.
There's like they're always happy and they're always positive. Because a lot of the times whenever I meet someone who is like that, they always turn out to do something that's really reprehensible, and it's almost like a curtain to hide what their real intent is.
I see what you're on about.
know?
I have to look up a term now because I believe it applies, but keep going.
That's basically it. That's kind of why I gravitate more towards people who are like excessively toxic.
And when you say excessively toxic, not to the point where it's detrimental.
I mean, yeah, not really. But at the same time, like, I mean, my level of toxicity I can handle is much higher than like what most people can handle. So
Right.
to some other people, that level of toxicity may be detrimental to them, but to me, personally, it's not. Yeah, that's sort of all I have to say on that, really.
Well, I can't find the name of it, but there was a specific thing I wanted to reference. Basically, a psychological term that for every good deed a human does, they slowly build up in the back of their mind a idea that
I know what you're talking
you're
about.
allowed an evil.
It's like karmic credit.
Yeah, karma, basically.
Yeah.
Like using karma, not understanding karma.
Yeah, it's viewing karma as a form of currency.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and
I've done all these goods, you owe me this bad.
Yeah.
Isn't really the point.
I mean, I personally am of the belief that everyone just does stuff that's bad, and like,
well, you've read Heart of Darkness, yes?
I have not read Heart of Darkness.
Oh, it's basically that.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that, like, I don't believe that people are, like, inherently evil, but I don't think that they're inherently good either.
Yeah.
You know, I think that there's, like, a yin-yang sort of thing where there's a light to every darkness, and
a dark to every light.
Yeah, and to see that, like, someone is always light makes me think, like, well, they're
hiding a big dark.
Yes, exactly. It's not just
it.
that they're hiding a darkness, like, they're hiding something that's so bad they have to, like, put up, like, kind of a fake curtain.
A joke that we make around the university a lot is like, oh, look at that man with the giant lifted truck and huge wheels.
Yeah.
No compensation whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's like that's like an inherent ingrained thing in society of what you're expressing is the like immediate distrust of someone who approaches you and is altruistic. You're cynical.
Yes, I'm incredibly cynical.
Got it.
So yeah, no.
So when it comes to these toxic players that you're on about, someone who just talks hot garbage and then can still produce in the game, those are the ones that you're going to gravitate towards?
Honestly, it doesn't really matter. To me, it's more about how funny they are.
Oh.
Like, how humorous they are.
Reaping content from the interaction?
Yeah, pretty much. That's sort of how I see it.
Got it.
Is if this person is being incredibly toxic and they're hacking and they're funny about it,
yeah,
I'm going to gravitate to that person more than someone who's just dryly, like, trash talking and really good at the game. You know?
Yeah.
So my whole thing is like I experienced this hacker on TF2C the other day who was really funny because he kept number one, he kept changing his name. Number two, anytime someone would do a vote kick to like kick him out, he would leave and rejoin so it would reset. And it's like, that's like sucks for the people trying to play it seriously. I'll admit, but it's like, to me, I think that's really funny. So I
were tolerating him.
I wasn't tolerating him. I was relishing in him. I was enjoying it.
He was dinner in a show.
Yes, pretty much.
Got it.
You know, even though I was on the receiving end of it, I was on the enemy team when it was happening. I still found enjoyment of like the chaos of it.
Yeah.
I think that's really funny.
I've definitely been that in some matches where, like, for instance, I'm learning how to use this gun that is empirically, it's very expensive for a pistol, and it doesn't fire very many shots. So in the event that I turn a corner and there's two people, I can kill one of them, and then I immediately die to the other dude because they both shoot me, right? So at that point, it's like I should just get a machine gun and deal with both of them.
Yeah.
Or I should get a gun that, a normal pistol, and just deal with both of them properly instead of trying to do this like over-the-top cool mechanic. So like at some point, I am this scourge of the team because when I die, I then am stuck. In the TF2 has a respawn.
Yeah.
Valorant doesn't have a respawn mechanic. It's point based, and then every time you die, that you're dead until the next round opens up.
Okay.
And then it switches attackers and defenders at the halfway point, and you're trying to go first to 13.
Yeah.
So with that, it's like I'm dead. I now have to watch my entire team, and then I'm stuck in the chat. So if I'm stuck in the chat, or I'm stuck in the team voice chat of just talking to my teammates, if I'm causing a problem, it's like, well, I can either sit here and just listen to this person get upset at me, or I can play this fun little character who's a cowboy.
Okay.
And I feel like that's like we're kindred spirits at that point of you allowing me into your team because I'm this cowboy Wild West 6-shooter.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. But yeah, I like toxic people more than not toxic people.
Yeah.
I think that I don't know, I think that's
because you're looking for entertainment value.
Yeah, I'm looking
That's
for
the bit
entertainment value. But
Okay.
even then, it's also like in terms of my friend groups, almost everyone in my like kind of like close friend groups has like a very like clear negative trait.
Yeah.
And to me, I see that negative trait as kind of like a boon, like kind of like the opposite of the karmic effect, like as a boon where it's like, okay, so they have this negative trait. They also have all these positive traits, but this big kind of major negative thing about them makes me know that they're human and they're not trying to spite me in some way. You know, they're not trying to like kind of gain the system and like gain me as like a piece in their kind of psychopath puzzle.
Yeah.
You know, they're not, because that's...
So a psychopath on your scale would be a perfect person.
Yeah, no, like psychopaths are really good at hiding the fact that they're psychopaths.
Right.
They know like exactly what to do to get people like in their like on their side of the chessboard.
Right.
And to me, yeah, I am of the belief that like if you're not showing your flaws on your sleeves, like I just can't
then you're
trust
not,
you.
because you're not acting like a human.
Yeah.
And humans are inherently flawed. Got it.
And it's like if your flaws are so bad that you need to like keep them hidden all the time, it's just
That's a big one.
It's a bad one, yes. But yeah, that's sort of my take on the whole toxicity in games.
Interesting. As a way to show the human soul.
Sort of, yeah. Yeah.
That's a very philosophical approach to dealing with toxic players in game. What happens when they just are annoying? What about that?
Um,
When it's not, it's no, the joke has gone on too long, or it was never funny to begin with. You know, like a dead meme, for instance, that you're not particularly fun about, or if they show up and are immediately into femboy hooters, which listeners would know you don't.
I don't like
enjoy.
that meme. No.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I just avoid people like that who I just don't care for. You know.
And when you say avoid, like you're in this match with them.
Yeah.
So what are we doing about avoiding? Just being in an area of the map they're not.
If they're too annoying, I'll probably just leave. But I have like I said, I have a pretty good tolerance for this kind of stuff. So I could, if it's like annoying but not too annoying, I could just block them out. You know, like I just have a pretty good ability to just
not listen.
Yeah, just to just avoid.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sort of how I go about it, and that's
no. Go ahead.
I mean, that's usually just like.
And would you agree that engaging is like the whole reason? Like we understand, like we know that like you don't engage with a bully because they just want the verification and the attention.
Yeah.
I would argue the exact same thing online.
I do not engage in like those kind of people normally because it's especially for someone who's like doing like hacking or something like that, like someone who's like trying to get a rise out of people.
Yeah.
I don't engage not because I do or don't want to like what's it called? Put a stop to it.
Yeah.
I don't engage specifically because like it's like I'm watching like you said, it's like a dinner show.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't want to like get in the way of the performance in a way. You know, like this chaotic display of just pure malice permeates, and I think it's really funny. And so I don't usually engage that much. But yeah, I think it's that's sort of my take on that.
Okay. I feel like you agree with the sentiment of I lost my train of thought just then and there. It's all gone. 1 sec. Reload the save. We were talking about something. You would agree with the sentiment of I was told this by a babysitter.
Okay.
One who, not my babysitter. I didn't have one. I was a wild child. Someone who like sat babies is their job. One of my friends in high school, and she was like, "Here's the deal. I figured it out. You don't punish the bad, reward the good. You ignore the bad, and pay attention to the good. And it's twice as fast. Kids will respond to that."
Yeah, I'd say so.
You agree with that sentiment?
I would sort of say that's the case.
And
I mean,
like,
that's what I think would be good. I'm not like I don't know enough because I personally don't like interact with kids.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. I like to think that a lot of toxicity comes out of like immaturity.
Yeah.
Just because you have this person who's hopping online and like demanding attention from randos, because they are, right?
Yeah.
Like, to be completely honest, you're being like you're trash talking a complete stranger while you're both trying to enjoy a game that you're both voluntarily like assigned to each other.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't choose to play with you. You're randos in a lobby. So you're voluntarily assigned to each other. You're both, like, playing in this bit. Oh, hello. Lances through the window. We have a big glass pane that separates the production room from the booth.
Yeah.
And it's behind the camera, so you'll never be able to see it, audience. But just know that there's a piece of glass and then another door behind it where people sometimes go and talk.
Yes.
What were we talking about again?
I mean, we're still on the whole toxicity
attention. I understand,
thing.
like, the exact point, though.
Yeah.
Attention. That's right. They come in here. Immaturity.
Yeah.
They show up into these lobbies randomly, and they demand attention from you, or they demand something from them.
I don't necessarily agree all the time, and that's because one of my best friends is incredibly toxic.
Oh yeah.
And so what he does is if someone is annoying him, like most of the time he's toxic because he doesn't want to engage in people from what I've seen. Like he'll like hear someone say something he think is weird or annoying, and his response is to yell at them to shut up. You know, or like scream into the mic or blow into it. I have to blow into the mic when I want to exert my toxicity because I live near people.
Right.
But he would scream into the mic and tell them like, "Shut up, I don't care."
Right. Angry, but he
Yes.
engages.
He engages because he specifically doesn't want to engage with these people.
Mm.
Is the thing. So it's almost exactly opposite with him.
Okay.
From what I've seen, is that.
And does he get good results, or does he?
Oh no,
have
he
to...
absolutely doesn't.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Perhaps like figuring out where this toxicity comes from can help us help your friend not have to deal with toxic people.
Well, I don't think it's I don't think it's necessarily a matter of him wanting to engage or not wanting to engage. I think it's more so a matter of he just thinks it's funny to yell at people.
Oh, okay.
So
he is finding a level of enjoyment out of it.
I would say so, yeah. He is
All right.
definitely the guy, like I've known him for 3 years, and he's the kind of guy who revels and enjoys his anger.
Okay.
So
There you go.
like he honestly looks for some it's like he looks for a real minor inconvenience,
Yeah.
amplifies it in his mind and blows up at it.
Uh-huh.
And to him that's how he has fun.
Got it.
So yeah. I don't necessarily agree that it's entirely like an engagement thing. Like they want the engagement. Maybe on a subconscious level that's the case.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen
Like
of how he
the
behaves.
conscious choices is
Yeah.
what I'm looking for. Like, when does somebody decide, hey, I'm really just gonna like dig into this person, and not tell them like strategic advice about a game, but just straight up be like, hey man, throw your computer out the window.
Yeah, in most cases like that, I would say it's mainly someone looking for a punching bag.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is like if you ignore them, they'll probably go away sort of situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's like a tertiary need for them. I think ultimately they play a lot of the people who are really toxic at games like that play like games for the express purpose of being better than someone else.
Oh yeah.
So I think that
They
plays
do
a
show
role.
up at a lot of competitive places. I know the Smash scene has a lot of those too.
Oh man, don't get me started on what's going on with the Smash scene right now.
Not right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole
Yeah.
other box of frogs we can digest.
I hopped into on my Discord 2 days ago was when it all
Yeah.
blew open. It was over the weekend, right?
Yeah, it's totally over the weekend.
Yeah, so I'm in the Discord and just a guy, one of my mutuals from Florida hops in. He was huge into the P Plus project,
Yeah.
the Smash tournament stuff, and he just starts dropping fact, screenshot with screenshot, texts over recaptured text, and I'm like, man, I haven't had lunch. Like, give me a second here.
Yeah, nah. I revel in that kind of drama personally.
Right.
I personally it's one of those things where I can acknowledge that it's a bad thing while also taking pleasure in the chaos.
It's your version of tea, yeah?
Yeah.
It's your version of drama television because
Pretty much.
it's relevant to your life. So
Yeah.
you can kind of get an insight in where people are coming from. You know all the players of the game.
And
you can just watch them
and I can,
interact and react.
and I can paint someone as and this actually wraps back to my whole point of
Go ahead.
people who are almost inherently toxic.
Go ahead.
The big kind of figurehead in this drama, which was Sky Williams,
Mm-hmm.
it was one of those guys who's super positive all the time.
Yeah.
And was oh, you can't be negative online.
Do we want to get
you
into
can't
the Smash stuff for reference?
yeah, sure, for reference.
Low level base stuff.
Yeah.
Bunch of Smash pros and Smash regulars had a lot of pedophile charges pulled out from them on social media, and a lot of people just sort of dropped receipts of messages that they had been sent or requests that were sent to them.
Yes.
A lot of underage girls had come out as a group and were just hey, we kind of all realized these choice people are doing this and they're a part of your community. Y'all want to do something about this?
Yeah.
And the current drama is still being ensued over, and the bombshells are still being dropped. But it opened up over the weekend.
Yes, and the big
Sky Williams.
The big reason why Sky Williams is relevant in this is because he had a house, a huge house that he let people in the Smash community live in.
Yeah.
And he's been kind of I don't know if I don't know the full details. I don't know if he's been supplying them with underage kids or he's been complicit with it. Everyone has been collectively referring to him as the Jeffrey Epstein of the Smash community.
Right. He's either catering this behavior or he's grooming these girls to be an accessory to his whole estate.
Not just that, but he's also from a lot of the receipts that have been shown he's been seen as very much like a megalomaniac, I need this money. If you don't give me this money on my desk by tomorrow, I am going to break your things.
Right. And that leads back to what you're talking about of, we didn't know any of this, and it's considered a large blow against the community, except for the cynical ones who were kind of like in Jake's shoes of like, something was going on.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this one, but something was going on.
Yeah.
Because the entirety of his social media, his messages were very reserved and very much a full front of, nah, man, we're just here to have fun.
Yeah, it's just pure no negativity, positivity all the time. You can't do that. In my opinion, that is a huge red flag for me of this person has something big to hide. And it came out with him. It came out with another guy.
I don't want to drop names just because it's all been mixed of who's good.
I know
and who's bad
this
right
is something
now.
that happened a long time ago, or a couple years ago. Before, I think maybe before or during when I first started on Twitter. There's this guy. You might know him because that meme of the kind of the fat guy with the shirt off, and it's his room appeared in every images.
Yeah.
His name was Space Gecko, aka Lucas. The Lucas Room meme. You familiar with that?
I think so. Sonic Chew?
No, it's not Sonic Chew. That's
never mind.
That's Chris Chan. That's an entire.
Right.
That is 5 shows worth of discussion.
Oh,
we're not unpacking Chris Chan right now.
There's a whole podcast that's actually just about him.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
We can't do it.
Yeah, it's
not our show.
Five shows for us would still be barely scratching the surface of that rabbit hole. But
anyways,
the point is this was a guy who's kind of prominent on anime Twitter as this. I wasn't big when he was active, but he was seen as a sort of a weird he was sort of seen as an eclectic billionaire without the money, he would do a lot of weird things, and he was always kind of really positive,
very eccentric.
Yeah, he was very eccentric. He would say I'm gonna walk my cat today, or just kind of weird
edge of the line,
not
personality,
not offensive, but just kind of that's kind of weird that you're doing that.
You have so many fish bowls in your front yard.
Yeah, sort of that kind of stuff.
What's going on, Uncle John?
Yeah, no, it's the whole thing with him was it came out that he's been grooming a lot of people, and it was one of those things where everyone liked this guy. He was such a positive, he was friends with everyone sort of thing.
Right. Well, again, that's part of their thing, right?
Yeah, and it's
creating a network.
That's been sort of a big blow to a lot of people who were hey, maybe this guy is all right, and then this one kind of guy who is always positive all the time turns out to be a predator. And it's we can't you can't trust anyone anymore. That's just how I've seen it. Is
so instead of just trusting those who are blanket good on the full front, you instead take that front of meeting strangers on the internet, which is I see his evil.
Yes.
So I can place his problems. If I can place his problems, I know that he's not getting this far.
Yeah.
Because he's a broken person. Look at him.
Yeah,
which is very judgmental, to be completely honest and fair.
Yeah, no, it is. But I feel they're judgment exists for a good reason. We've evolved to judge people for a very genuinely logical reason.
I'd be slow on that one, Chief. That's a dangerous conversation.
Yeah, but you've judged people before, have you?
Never actually.
I have
even no prejudice.
Okay, even
I care little.
Even if it was this dude,
no, they're
shaved head, swastika on the neck.
They're all
you wouldn't
below
judge
me.
them.
They're all below me. I'll kill any of them. I'm kidding.
That's fine, but
instead of judging one singular, I've judged humanity, and it's below me.
That's fair.
I don't beat dogs.
Regardless,
that's just my character. Mom, please don't hurt me.
Yeah, no. My point is there's a lot of, I don't know. I'm of the belief that I think that you should, on at least minute level, judge someone based on patterns you've seen. This is just one of those
based on their actions.
Yeah, well, based on their actions, obviously, but take those actions and put those against this card of other actions that I've collectively kind of accepted.
From other people, or are there just other examples?
I mean,
I'm just trying to like figure out what you're getting at here.
So like example is that I see a lot of like I see like the like Lucas
Yeah.
and like recently with Sky Williams is all these people who are really positive, and then info comes out that like these really positive people have a really dark underbelly. I take that, connect it with the fact that, well, someone like I'm friends with a lot of toxic people. Why is that? Because I know how bad they are on a deep level.
Yes.
I know how broken they are on like a very like a subconscious level, and I see that
you understand them.
Yes.
And so you know the gamut of what they're going to do, good or bad.
Yes.
Versus someone who is like pure front, you have no way of judging where they're going to go.
Yeah.
And because it's proven more times than not, they're going down.
Yes.
That's the reason they've put up this big wall.
Yes.
Is because they're digging, they're making something on the other side of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a big thing with me. Is I've just
you are the people you hang around with.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of a level of like complacency. Like if any of my friends were doing something bad, first thing I'm going to do is drive out of town because they don't live next to me whatsoever. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to park at their place and go through their window.
Yeah.
Like me, through their window, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Like you can't allow your friends to get away with stuff. You got to know exactly where they're moving.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like baby your friends, but like if you see your friend doing something they shouldn't be doing, either stop hanging out with them or stop them.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say to a degree, yes. I think it depends on how bad it is, because I'm
of course.
Like the thing is with me is with me and my friends, I'm very laissez-faire in that I'm not gonna stop. Like if they do something exuberantly bad, like unjustifiably bad, I'll cut ties with them.
They eat a human.
Yeah, like that I would probably like. It's one of those things to where I would probably stop hanging out with them in the moment. If it was like I became friends with someone and found out they were a cannibal like 5, maybe 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know in a case.
Oh?
Like it's one of those.
So Jake,
I think there's room for redemption.
you want to come over for a cookout?
I think there's room for redemption. You know, like I think that like having someone like doing some. I think there's some things that are just like kind of unforgivable in general. Like there's stuff that
like the unnatural crimes.
Yeah, I think there are.
Necromancy.
Because like I think that
Magic.
like I think there is like room for redemption for even like someone who like killed someone. Because I don't know the detail. Like a serial killer, don't know if there's much room for redemption there.
Because it's an active choice every time.
It's an active choice every time. They're actively hiding it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You're talking like
a guy who killed someone for like raping his wife.
Right.
Like that's something that's like, even in like a case like that, that's like I could be friends with someone like that because that is like very much like
a paladin,
a justifiable
not
like
a paladin. What would be like an anti-hero?
I would say
the
that
Punisher would take some sort of cause like that.
I would say that's like a justifiable crime of passion. You know, and in some cases that's not a crime of passion. I think there's some states where it's like you're legally allowed to defend the people you love in a case like that.
Nice.
But I don't know the full extent of it.
Good.
My whole thing though is that I play a kind of a laissez-faire. Like if someone's doing something I think is bad, but it's not like so bad I'll stop being friends with them, I'll let them know. I'm not gonna stop being friends with them. But like anytime like they would ask me advice on it, I would give them my advice and I would let them go along with it. And if they chose not to, because I have friends who do bad stuff all the time just because they're human and they do stupid stuff.
I have cool friends too, Jake.
Yeah.
One of them wears a leather jacket.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He does crimes.
My friend,
crimes are cool.
My friend has a Chinese opium pipe. Got you there.
It's not supposed to be. Whatever. Go ahead.
You're the one making it a competition, buddy. Regardless.
The joke is I'm insecure.
The joke is I'm insecure. I'm taking it away from you because I'm a thief.
Oh. Continue, Jake.
Okay. The point is,
you have friends who do bad things.
Yeah, but like it's like I'm not just gonna like drop them wholesale because
that's not fair if you didn't explain to them in the point of like, hey, don't do that, right?
Well, like no, I'll tell them like, hey, what you're doing is a bad idea. You shouldn't do that. I think it's their responsibility to not do that.
That's pretty fair,
to
be honest.
Where it's like like I said, I will give them advice, but they're not living my life.
Yeah.
You know, so like if they do something kind of bad, something that I think is like dumb or
Yeah.
like maybe a little bit morally bankrupt,
Right.
as long as it's not too bad, I'm not gonna not be friends with them.
You shouldn't have cheated on that test, Johnny.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, maybe you shouldn't cheat on that test, because I think that like ultimately doing bad things will result in bad consequences. And I think that
karma like comes into effect at a certain point.
I do believe there is like a level of kind of like karmic nature with how humans think about stuff, where like you put bad things into the world, bad things will come back at you.
Right.
I don't know if it's necessarily a spiritual thing. I think it's something that's kind of ingrained in how
it's probably a lot more like cause and effect.
Yeah.
Right? Of like I stole this thing.
Yeah.
And I continue to steal this thing. Well, now I've been caught because they figured out someone's been stealing this one thing, and it's been me.
Yeah.
That's a simple concept.
Yeah.
But repeat evil will beget an evil response eventually.
Yeah, and so I'm of the belief.
Statistics.
Yeah, I'm of the belief that like my friends are my friends because I like their positive traits and I can tolerate their negative traits. And if those negative traits result in negative actions, I feel like their punishment should be whatever the universe has for them. And I feel like it's not my responsibility.
You're not the jury executioner.
No, I'm not.
Judge, jury, and executioner.
I'm their friend. You know, like
yeah, that's fair.
That's my sort of state of mind. Is I don't like to like manage my friends like a business.
So when we're fived up in that lobby for TF2 Classic, we can expect ourselves some of the boys will be boys shenanigans.
Yeah, no,
but that'll also be mixed in with the like genuine good conversation of companionship, right?
I mean, me with him, but maybe not with the other people. You know, like I mean, it's one of those things to where I can tell an abusive relationship like from a mile away. So like I am pretty good at avoiding people who I would perceive as abusive.
Right.
But you know, like I haven't noticed any traits like that in my friends so far.
Right.
The only ones
because you actively avoid it.
Yeah.
There's that level of like it shouldn't. You've already checked your friends; they should be good.
Yes.
And you trust your judgment.
Yeah.
So it's only going to be the new ones, like me.
Yeah. No. But yeah, like so it's entirely a matter of if they do something that's crummy, I'll let them know. I'll be like, hey, that wasn't a cool thing to do.
Right.
But if they still want to do it after I told them not to, that's their imperative.
You're not their dad.
Yeah, I'm not their dad. I'm their friend. If their dad wants to punish them for that, most of them are adults. You know, like the youngest one is not I think 19.
I still do keep coming back to this idea of recent, and that's probably just because I've started adding more cardio.
Yeah.
Like boxers cardio into my work, so I'm looking at all these boxers workouts.
Yeah.
I do think people should be allowed to fight each other in some capacity.
No, I do too. I'm with you on that.
Every person I've talked to, except for a few, have been like, yeah, it would be good it would be good for the people who need that fight to get it over with. I've only gotten into a handful of fights in my life.
I think that trying to hide humans' violent nature is only going to result in it bottling up, which that usually results in war. And I'm very anti-war, so I think a lot of built-up tension would be solved through
I think that's why we have such violent video games. If you want to get into
absolutely.
that conversation, and mix that into here as well.
No, I think you're absolutely right too.
What is it? Catharsis.
Yeah.
And perhaps that is another perspective onto these toxic players in games.
I think the issue is a lot of the people who are trying to push for banning violent video games or making sure fights don't happen in the streets. You know,
Well, assault is one thing.
Assault's one thing, but two consenting adults agreeing to box in public shouldn't be an issue, you know, in my opinion, at least.
I guess the only release that they have at that point is fighting each other in an agreed tournament.
Yeah.
Which is either a boxing gym where it's safe or an online game.
Which it's in the terms of a tournament like that, why should we go through all the paperwork and stuff? Why can't I just say, I want to fight you, I do too, maybe get some police to
you need that ref, don't you? You need the ref.
You kind of do. You need to make sure that it's it's not a lethal fight. You know,
also,
if you have two guys Krav Magaing each other, it's gonna result in.
And the instant that someone has very obviously won, the winner might not know that they've won.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're in the middle of a fight, right?
Yeah. I do think there.
Bless me. That was a genuine sneeze.
But yeah, no, I am with you. I do think that like fighting in the streets, so long as it doesn't result in like a lost in tooth. So
shouldn't have to be in the streets. You could go to like a place that is like holds fights.
Yeah,
you each pay a ticket, you sign a waiver, you get a ref.
I think that I personally am
both accountable.
I'm personally of the belief that trying
sounds a lot like a video game, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean it's a video game, but like very like it's like Fight Club without the weird like
anarchist destabilization plot.
Yeah, I think
the human soap.
I think it's
a good and weird movie.
Well, it's very similar to like how like married men like who are very unhappy will like have an affair and then come back and be like really energetic and like love their wife more and like care for their kids better because they had that affair, which I'm not justifying affairs. I've
just never heard this example before, but keep going.
Well, it's like kind of like a tell that a lot of married people have where it's like, oh, well, the husband is like kind of a little bit more caring than they normally have. Maybe there's something that's giving them a bit of energy that they shouldn't be getting. I feel like I'm not justifying, say, like affairs because
finish your example.
My whole point is I am of the belief that I think that trying to bottle up our urges entirely is very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And I think that like there are some urges that just shouldn't be like partaked in. Yeah, like the urge
milk
to
before cereal.
Yeah, the urge to murder.
Right.
That's like that should not be
wearing socks and sandals in public.
I suppose so. Yeah. I don't do that myself. So
I'm checking you right now, Jake.
I got these.
No socks on those flip flops. We're good.
Yeah. No. But my point is that I think that I'm very laissez-faire with everything, really. I'm just of the belief that like you really can't be telling people what they are and are not able to do. So I just like almost every sort of like kind of, if you want to like even get political, almost every political position I have is based on the government not telling its people what they should be allowed to do.
Yeah. You've said it a few times, laissez-faire.
Yeah. I'm very laissez-faire. I think that like I think laws exist to protect the people, and I think that the people don't need protecting from themselves. So to say.
Yeah.
Like
you should be allowed to pick your poison.
Yeah, like I think that Texas should legalize casinos,
Oh, the roulette table.
I know, right?
What a cruel mistress.
I know. No, I'm very in favor of like legalizing casinos, like allowing that vice to come into fruition. Yeah. I think that
good tax revenue, I've been told.
Yeah. I think that of like vices, so long as it's not like murder or like
if it's a self-destructive vice.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
I'm fine with self-destructive.
It's when
vices.
It becomes predatory. That's the problem.
Like rape, murder,
right? Human trafficking.
Absolutely, human trafficking. That stuff.
Child abuse.
That stuff needs to be banned. But like banning drugs.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, the war on drugs is a big political one right now.
Well, the war on drugs itself is a joke because it hasn't stopped drugs. It's just made it more dangerous to get them. Mm-hmm. My whole stance on drugs is heroin is a very dangerous drug. You should never do it. But why make it more dangerous by inducing it into a black market where the only way to defend your stock of said drug is through murder and through fear,
the gun game.
Yeah, because like you look at the cartels, they kill a lot of people, and there's reason to do that because the cartel can't go to the cops and tell them, hey, like,
right,
someone stole our smack. Can you help us?
It's the underground police helping to protect the underground market, which was made entirely underground because the above ground market doesn't want to deal with it. And both are pursued by the above ground police.
Like the what's it called? I can't think of. Why am I forgetting the name of it? Alcohol's ban.
Prohibition?
Yeah, Prohibition. Thank you.
Created all the moonshiners of the West.
Well, it created the gangsters. It created like mobsters.
And then it created Vegas.
Yeah. And it's like, well...
But we love Vegas.
I mean, yeah, like there's obviously been good things that have come. Like NASCAR came from like moonshining, and people love people loved NASCAR. It's not that good anymore. But the point is, is that while there were good things that came from Prohibition, I would say the bad things vastly outweighed the good. And I think ultimately it becoming legal again has caused us like just it's been much better for society. And alcohol is one of the most dangerous drugs on the planet.
In long-term use.
Like, not even just in, like, yeah, like, I mean,
It's poison.
it's
genuine poison.
It's literally poisoning
I
you.
use it to clean my masks, actually.
Yeah.
I use isopropyl
Yeah, I mean,
and hot water.
yeah, like, that's the thing, is with alcohol, you are literally ingesting poison.
Straight up.
Like, to give you that funny feeling. That funny feeling is you being poisoned, you know? But, like...
Love it. Oh, can't get enough.
Like,
oh, wait.
Like, it's one of the worst. It's, like, on the level of, like, cocaine and heroin. Yet it's legal.
Completely
And that's
legal.
because it's a cultural thing, you know?
Right.
You're not seeing politicians call for banning alcohol
Right.
because it didn't work. Well, guess what? Banning heroin doesn't work either. You know, banning cocaine doesn't work either. It's got a Clorox stuff.
Oh, that's nice. We just got ourselves a big thing of Clorox again through the window, which you'll never see.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, ultimately my kind of take is that, like, banning stuff that hurts banning stuff that hurts yourself or banning stuff that isn't inherently harmful, like, just via its, like, I'm pro-gun, I'm pro-2A, you know, and that...
Very, very pro a lot of things, Jake.
I'm basically pro anything that doesn't directly cause harm to another person.
That's very fair.
You know, like I said, like murder, rape, assault, you know, battery, stuff like that, stuff that like is causing like physical harm onto someone.
I guess, I mean, if you want to look at it, if you want to go just by the numbers, like if a robot took over and tried to protect we've seen this from like the Ultron comic books, but if a robot took over and tried to protect everyone, the first thing it would do is ban cars. The second thing it would do is ban alcohol.
Yeah.
Like those are two things that are American staples.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But like cars themselves are much more dangerous than guns. You know, you're not seeing a ban for cars because our infrastructure is literally built around
specifically
cars.
In Texas.
Very much in Texas. It's huge.
You can't get hired if you don't have a car in some places.
Yeah, pretty much because
the first thing I got asked.
Yeah, no, like you need to have one. You know,
but reliable transportation.
But it's
your legs
dangerous.
Your legs don't count.
It's even with a seatbelt, even with our laws that make us wear the seatbelts.
It's
like
dangerous,
it's still
and
incredibly
because
deadly.
It's dangerous. It gets more expensive. Now we're talking insurance. Oh, this.
Yes,
Jake, we don't have time because this conversation spirals.
Yes,
and it really does spiral.
This was a good episode, though. Very good discussion.
Very good discussion. I like the points about toxicity. I like the points about like realizing that, like, hey, if like check your friends. Yeah. Don't be afraid to check your friends. Don't be upset if your friends check you.
Yeah. I mean, like...
If you can't fight someone in the street, beat them online.
Yeah, pretty much.
Easy. Easy.
Yeah.
I'll catch you in, what is it? I don't play Xbox. My buddy has the Xbox. What is all the Gulag memes?
Oh, I know what you're
Warzone.
talking. Yeah.
I'll catch you in Warzone.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
It's a multi-plat, so...
Multi-platform shooter. You can beat anyone.
Unfortunately,
that's what my roommate plays a lot of.
Yeah,
but he's not very good at it.
Unfortunately, everyone is uninstalling it because it's too big.
Yeah.
It's too big of a game.
I heard that recently. It's just gotten too large. So get a PC. Hop over to Valorant. Come beat me up.
Hop over to TF2C.
Yeah, go to TF2C. Jake will beat you up.
I'll scream at you. I'll get really mad.
And Jake and his friend will yell at you.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your episode of Cruisin the Planet. If you enjoyed it, then go ahead and give us a like, give us a recommendation to your friends. Rate us 5-star on iTunes if you think we earned it. Please. We hope that y'all have had a good day. You can find all of our links and stuff for socials and stuff in the description of this podcast, of this video, of this whatever. We throw this out to multiple platforms. And a little announcement at the back end of this, we are opening up a new podcast on the network. It's going to be called Tarleton Radio Network Special Report. Every single interview that we've done for our very serious jobs of being the actual news. Yeah. You can listen to almost every one of those. I'm working on my next project after this. That'll be coming out very shortly. You'll probably get some sort of update either on this feed or on our large generalist feed, and then that'll go to be its own thing. Jake, loved having you on the show this week.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we'll get to see you this week because we didn't last.
Yeah.
And then we can talk more about something.
Something good, hopefully.
Always something good,
Always
Jake.
something good, absolutely.
You have yourself a good evening. You got buddies coming to town. You can go play games with them.
Yeah, maybe not games, but we might get dinner.
All right.
Yeah.